data. Now let's move on. Types of observation. Types of observation, there are 10 different types. Natural versus contrived, structured versus unstructured, direct versus indirect, participative versus non-participative, controlled versus uncontrolled. Natural observation. It occurs when we observe behavior as it is taking place in a normal setting. For example, watching the customer who enter a bookstore before they either leave or make a purchase, or watching children while they select toys. Contrived observation. To reduce great deal of time, it may be desirable to contrive situation so that observation may be made more efficiently. Example, sales manager of Gold Winner Oil is interested in studying brand preference of the customer. So he need not wait till the stock is sold. He can make the shopkeeper put an out of stock board for that specific brand and start observing how customers of this brand are behaving. So natural observation, observing natural situation. Contrived observation, artificially we are creating a demand. We want to know how many people are asking a particular brand. The second one is structured versus unstructured. Structured observation. It is facilitated by the use of data collection instruments. If a researcher has to know about a particular brand of car, he would observe only the brand of car, does not pay any attention to other brands. Example, BMW, Audi. He can stand on NH road and observe how many BMW and Audi cars passing a single day. The structured method consumes less time, makes it easier for the researcher to analyze the data. Unstructured observation, the observer is free to note down whatever he deems relevant to the situation being studied. Example, the researcher observed the buying behavior of people of different brand of the same product. After that, he would analyze the buying decision for a particular brand. So structured observation, you can keep particular brand on your mind and observe the things. Unstructured, whatever deems relevant to the situation, it is observed by the researcher. And the third one is direct versus indirect. Direct observation, the researcher wait for a particular experiment. This process takes a longer time to get a single response. A researcher is observing a sale of a new product in an automobile showroom. In this case, this is relatively straightforward. Supposing if you are interested in noting down the interest of viewers of particular movie, it can be used to record the degree of interest viewers express on the film. You can sit on the theater and observe viewers, how many times they go out, how frequently they go out, and on which scene they are keep clapping, laughing. All the information you are directly observing while sitting on the theater. It is called direct observation. Indirect observation, it involves observing the result of behavior that has already happened. If you are selling soap, you want to know which brand of soap is attracted by this location. So what type of soap is used by many in this locality? It can be found by observing the wrapper of the soap. Or what type of beverage is likely by majority of the customer of a bar? It can be found by counting the empty bottles. It is called indirect observation. Even Shakti Masala company is following indirect observation. Many companies are following indirect observation. And the next one is participative versus non-participative observation. Participative, photography, videography, audiography is the example. The researcher join in the daily life of informant how they behave. Photography, videography, audiography. These tools are employed actively by the researcher to capture emergent behavior and create visual inventory. So, researcher join the daily life of informants, how they behave. In non-participative observation, the researcher observe and record natural behavior but does not become a part of unfolding event. Example, principal-faculty interaction. are not disturbed by the researcher, he may be present in the field to collect data without interacting, or he may study naturally occurring data by using video, CCTV camera. Even jewelry shops, they are using CCTV camera. It is one type of non-participative observation. In traffic signals, they are using CCTV camera to understand the particular situation. So CCTV camera, it is used as a non-participative observation. Researcher need not to be on the particular place. And the last one is controlled versus uncontrolled. Controlled observation. I'll give an example of Crorepati program. This program is influenced by the host person. Do you have any doubt or confident? Sure, if they ask many times, we get a doubt. No. So if they are asking many questions, we'll get a doubt. It is controlled by the researcher. Researcher may affect the actual situation by interfering actively, or he may affect the data by either his skill or his recording procedure. An uncontrolled observation, the researcher can't affect the actual situation. Example, quarantine period, coronavirus period, or flood or earthquake, it cannot be controlled by the researcher himself. It is uncontrolled observation. Now we'll move on to different types of questionnaire. It has two types, open-ended and closed-ended. Open-ended, it has no options. Closed-ended, it has several options. So in a question, we can have only two open-ended question. One is name and last one is suggestions. And ensure that you must have more number of closed-ended questions. An open-ended question has three types: free response, probing, and projective technique. Free response, please give your suggestion. That is a free response. Probing type of questions, it's an open-ended question, but are those where the actual open-ended questions are reached a little later in the process. It takes little time to understand. Probing type of questions, it takes little time to understand. And the next one is projective technique. Ink blot test, word association test, sentence completion, story completion, finger painting, role playing, or the example. The assumption is that a person projects his own thought, ideas, when he perceive and respond. It comes under projective technique. It can also be used. It is particularly used in HR. And the next one is closed-ended questions. It has four choices. One is dichotomous. Dichotomous is nothing but binary type of question. It is used to elicit yes or no response, or answer to two different aspects, or answer to two different aspects. Dichotomous, otherwise called binary type of questions. Ranking, that we all know, it has ranking question, multiple choice. Checklist, it contains terms which the respondent understand and which more briefly express his views than answer to open-ended questions. It is the simplest of all devices. Checklist, it has number of options. I'll give an example. Would you please give your opinion on the following attribute of a prospective wife? Beautiful, kindness, fair looking, intelligent, glamour, family background, habits, good health, knowledge. All are many options is given to you. You can click 5 or 6 options. Checklist, it has number of options. But dichotomous, only 2 options. Ranking, it may have 4 or 5, 6. Multiple choice, as we all know, 5, 6 all comes under multiple choice. And the last one is checklist. It's the simplest of all device. It has more number of options. So types of questionnaire, there are broadly 2 types: open-ended, closed-ended. Open-ended, it does not have any options, and closed-ended, it has options. And next one is, now we'll move on to characteristics of secondary data. Before we verify the secondary data, say example, if you are verifying balance sheet of a particular company, you have to see the reliability of data, and you have to see whether it is suitable to your study. And next, is it adequate? You have to collect adequate detail. It must be suitable to your title and your objectives, and it must be reliable to you. So these are the three main characteristics of secondary data. Now we'll move on to discussion questions. Find out the type of observation of the following example. Creating demand artificially. Dustbin check. Flood, earthquake and quarantine period. Using videography. Find out the type of observation. Before we end the session, now we'll do a small recap. Observation, totally 10 types of observation. As a researcher, you have to identify which type of observation you need. And question are broadly two types, closed-ended and open-ended. Closed-ended questions are quantitative in nature and open-ended questions are qualitative in nature. It depends upon study. You can have open-ended and closed-ended. And three basic characteristics of secondary data: reliability, suitability and adequacy. On this note, I end my session. Thank you for watching.